because I think it's the first time like I've ever made music where people are like really questioning, oh, what the fuck is he like? What's the concept? What's he dealing with? Like, what's he thinking about in his life? Because like before, it's just always been, you know, very tongue-in-cheek, sort of like playful, sometimes like aggressive music. But some of it, a lot of this on this album, I guess I open up and expose another side to me. It's not your society, you know, you can't. There's some motherfuckers that think like we're living in a simulation. They're like player one or some shit. That shit is not true. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta understand there's other people in the world.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easy to forget that if you spend so much time focusing on yourself. You feel me? Smile, say yes, and do whatever you were gonna do anyway. That's my biggest advice to people in most things. You know?
Whoop, whoop. Right now, I'm joined on Zoom with my guy Clbrks. How are you, bro?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Good man, good man. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
New project out, Libary of Babel. How are you feeling, man? The reception, how's it been?
Oh, it's been wicked, man. We sold out of the physicals. We did that off the back of like 2 singles, basically. Well, no, actually, no. We had like a few. Well, yeah, we had a few cassettes left, but we sold out of the vinyls of the two singles. Yeah, that shit was good, and like there was 150 of them. Yeah, man, not bad for a small run. People seem to really like it. My main goal is just like always just be better than your last one, and yeah, you know, I think people are saying that. Yeah,
I saw it was being sold in Japan. How did that come about?
It's being sold in Jet Set Records. I think either in Kyoto or Tokyo. I'm not sure. Jet Set Records. I think they have a few different branches in Japan. It's merely a relationship it's a relationship that Group Brazil established with them. They sell Group Brazil records.
That must be like a crazy feeling to have it like being played in Japan though, like all across.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, like it's just like my fucking dream to go to Japan. Like that's the one place in the world I'd love to go to, and that like Japan, Japanese culture and everything is just a massive inspiration to me anyway. Like, you know, art and anime, cuisine, fashion, all kinds of stuff. Like I look to that country for. So it's really, really nice that like you can now purchase my music physically in Japan.
Going international with it.
Yeah. It's cool.
So what does the Libary of Babel actually mean? Like I saw that you tweeted like someone was like, "What's the Libary of Babel?" and you're like, "Oh, you're living in it." Like what does that mean?
It's a metaphor. The Libary of Babel is a metaphor for the universe. It's the Libary of Babel. The book is a book by a Spanish author called Jorge Luis Borges. Okay. And it's like a really surrealist book from like the 40s, like a very short story. But basically it describes like a library that you're born into, where you're in a hexagonal room where there's 8 shelves there's shelves of books on each wall, and there's 8 rows and this many columns, etc., and all of these books contain absolute gibberish in them, and people go mad trying to find words inside these books, and it's like a labyrinth of these. So you go up, there's more libraries, and you go down and there's more libraries. And some people say that there's a man of the book who has read every book, like kind of like a godlike figure. And you get like, you know, it's all like really is but yeah, I mean my interpretation of it was like it using that as my understanding of the universe, like what I can find from these books that I like may have read metaphorically inside that library, you know, taking all of these things from my life and spreading that information and touching on things that are very like, you know, just morals topics, like, you know, mortality and insanity and money, things like that. And you know, that's what the library is. It's the universe.
The universe, definitely, mate. And it's very like a concise project. All songs are like super short, like 2 minutes, 1 minute long. Did you take inspiration from like because it really reminds me of like Mad Villainy or like even ours like projects, some rap songs, because it's like all songs are like really short. There's not like a lot of hooks. There's like a lot of skits in between.
Yeah, like, I mean, Mad Villain's always been an inspiration. Oh, Sweatshirt's also really cool. I think like it's just this like with everything. I mean, if you think about when somebody like Pusha T dropped Daytona, that was like a 7-track album. And it's
Yeah.
just a reflection of how like short people's attention spans can be. There was that one big influence, to be fair. I always give kudos to him, is Lord Apex. Like he has an album, a GTA inspired album. I forget the name of it right now, so I sound like a dick. But it's with Less Than Nowhere and this other dude, this other producer, Oko. Yeah, Oko and Less Than Nowhere. And they're all like 30-second long tracks. They're just him like just powering off. I felt it attached more to the concept as well, just these short stories, because you know, like the book is a short story in itself. I didn't want to long it out. For a while there was just a lot of short albums, and then only until recently, like when Busta Rhymes dropped that new album, which is like fucking 8 days long, and we sort of returned to that. But I'm quite comfortable in like, you know, the 1 minute 30, 16 bars kind of thing. Some do 32 sometimes, but just is what
that's what I really
like,
enjoyed about it as well, is how short like the songs were. It kind of grinds my gears sometimes when you listen to a song and it just goes on like a little bit too long. You could be like, oh, this could have been like 30 seconds shorter.
Especially with simple loops like the ones that we were using, you know, shout out to Dweeb, like it's very stripped back in a way, and yeah, you don't want to long things out. Like there's always the chance of something being too much. What I have been told is like, despite everything being so short, there's still like a lot of replay value to it. So that's what I'm happy about, is that people can revisit it and continue to reinterpret what it's about. Because I think it's the first time like I've ever made music where people are like really questioning, oh, what the fuck is he like? What's the concept? What's he dealing with? Like, what's he thinking about in his life? Because like before, it's just always been, you know, very tongue-in-cheek, sort of like playful, sometimes like aggressive music. But some of it, a lot of this on this album, I guess I open up and expose another side to me. And I feel like that's kind of appropriate given like, you know, what was going on with fucking just the world being slowed down, you know? So
100%. Do you think lockdown's really made you look in on yourself then?
Oh, definitely, because I've done like, I mean, as well as just like reflecting on myself, like, yeah, make you do crazy things, like, you know, like I've like sometimes I do things that I regret doing, and it makes you like reflect on yourself, and you have to think about what you got to do to change and what you got to do to be a better man. Like I'm not fucking 22 years old anymore, like I'm 26, and it's like I gotta like actually focus. I've got shit to lose, you know. And I like having that time puts a lot of shit in perspective.
So like, do you think you'll stick to making more personal music now that you've released this album, or do you think you'll go back to that kind of character rap, that kind of like aggressive, fun, tongue-in-cheek kind of rap?
I think I'm gonna balance it.
Yeah.
You know, like everything you do, like, you know, you take the things like you kind of like look at what you liked about what you did and what you didn't like about what you did. Like I'm trying to work on choruses more. I'm trying to work on making like those 3-minute long songs now again, like proper songs instead of short songs, and while making the short songs as well. Trying to apply more concepts. Trying to fucking sing a bit too. Like, I've been listening to a lot of Max B, just because like as a rap artist, like, and not being a trained singer and stuff, that's a perfect place to start. Like if you have any like just the basic knowledge of sort of engineering or mixing your own shit and harmonies, you can just see he's like harmonizing 3 to 4 tracks, and like that's been inspiring me a lot recently. I've been trying to sing a bit too.
How did you and Dweebs link up?
We were mutually aware of each other on SoundCloud for a while, and I think I hit him up like in the beginning, and like nothing really happened, and it's sort of like, to be honest, like I can't really quite remember how eventually like started. Like, oh, yo, I'll send you some beats. But yeah, he just sent me a pack of beats, and he noticed he's a very attentive person. You know, he pays a lot of attention to detail on what you say. So like he noticed what I was doing with what he was giving me, and then from that I'd give him back the stuff that I hadn't used, and he'd send me more stuff that was tinkered and tailored towards like that style with the previous songs. Yeah, so I had these like things for a while, and I guess I think like the whole that whole touching on conceptual shit kind of started like with the two Blah projects. I don't know. I felt like so at points like I was making really cold music, but sometimes I was like just saying stuff like a lot of the same things sometimes. Or like, some people be like, oh, this guy isn't really saying, and you feel like all those real hip hop fucking weirdos. It's like, nah, dude, I'm sick. Like, fuck you. Oh, I'm not saying anything. So I just wanted to show that other side of me. Like, no, I can write conceptual shit. Like, fuck off. Like, I can do both. Like, so.
100%. Yeah, you shouldn't listen to those type of people, really, man. Like, they take rap and hip hop way too seriously.
I think at a point like last year, my career sort of like accelerated so quickly that I really got obsessed with reviewing the feedback that I was receiving, whether it be via Blah Records releases or even that thing that I did for like Jay Swingler and stuff. Like that was really weird because that was like a very open YouTube thing, and you have like, little kids slating you off and shit. Like, oh, this guy to come do a rap, da 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 da, like this guy. Yeah. So like at one point I was really attentive to it, and I was also, and when that happened, I was getting a lot of hacking attempts, and people were phoning me. People were trying to phone my girlfriend, and like, it's kind of up my awareness of how fucking weird stuff can be. But now I'm over that, and I'm like, I'm more prepared. Like I think people forget that I don't have like a manager or any fucking training. I didn't go to fucking art school or theater school or nothing like that. Nobody's taught me about this. Like my dad's a fucking like a businessman. Like he's like a square, so to say. He can't give me advice on like how to tackle the new music market. He doesn't know anything. I'm here by myself, like really in terms of like my knowledge and what I'm thinking. And then I'm so happy that I have people like Moriarty and like Lee Scott and Solar and stuff to take me under their wings sometimes to just show me how shit can be done,
Yeah, I think we should get into one of the records from the project. Probably my favorite is Labyrinth. This one's hard, man.
I hit the back within the labyrinth. Sip the absinthe in your absence. Leave your kiddies in the past tense. Call her madness and tell them it weren't me. She frown, oh shit, why you drinking this early? Diamonds are forever for me, singing like Shirley. And I'm just trying to write the opening. I lit the dope again. I'm trying to find hope where there's no hope in you. You thought it was a joke, but there's no joke in there.
So I wanted to touch on something in like your earlier life. You basically said you previously worked in retail for 3 years. I'm someone that works in retail right now. I work in Tesco, like I work in a supermarket basically.
Oh, cool. Well, I never did supermarket stuff, but that's crazy, man. Kudos to you, bro.
Yeah, I've only started doing it because of lockdown, basically. It was like a symptom of basically COVID. I was basically unemployed. I was like, I have to grab a job like real quick.
Shout out to you, bro.
That's calm, man. And obviously, I know working with the public can be like such a nightmare. And I was just wondering, like, if you have any like funny stories or like any like something like a customer said to you that was really stupid, like whilst working in retail.
You know what? Nothing could ever come to mind. It's just, man, I don't know. I feel like at one point I worked in a shop in a train station, in Waterloo train station, like, and like people would be like, "Hurry up, my train's coming." And it's like, why the fuck are you here? Like, you know your train's coming, and they treat you like you're part of the train staff or something. Like, I don't work for fucking TFL. Like, my favorite thing I used to do in retail was when people used to tell me to be quick, to be slow as fuck. Like, you know, like, how the fuck you gonna pay me £8.50 and this person spending 500 fucking pounds? Suck my dick. Like, that's what I hated about retail, was just like sometimes the level of disrespect that you would receive from customers was just like nauseating. But I have one good story. Professor Green is the nicest customer in the universe.
Really?
Any retail worker that's ever encountered Professor Green will tell you he is an incredibly nice man, and he makes sure to touch everything and put it all back properly, and he asks you how you're doing, and he remembers you. And like, I'm not really a fan of his music or anything, but upon like, you know, I served him like multiple times where I worked in the shop that I worked in, and like, yeah, eventually, like, you know, he even invited me like to like backstage tickets to his shows and stuff. Like, real cool guy, man. Yeah, he's a cool guy.
That's sick. That's sick. Yeah, that's a nice story. Yeah. Was there anything like from that period of time that you like learned that you still take into your music career now, or do you see it as kind of like a waste of time, or like how do you see that period in your life? Because, you know, like someone like me, obviously, I'm hoping to one day never have to work in retail ever again. Do you know what I mean? We all kind of dream of coming out of it.
My one thing is like, it's really cheesy, but it's like a really old Facebook meme, like back in the day from Facebook, and it's a fucking questionable character. I don't know, not exactly the cleverest bloke in the world, Robert Downey Jr., which is like, you know, smile, say yes, and do whatever the fuck you were gonna do anyway.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like something. Oh, you gotta do this. Yeah, sure, I'll do what you want to do. Don't worry, and then go do it your way. Don't argue. Say no. I'd rather do it this way. They don't want to hear that shit. Just go do it your way and make sure like you delivered it that way, because that's what people. Then you're gonna shine like you. There's no point in trying to work. Like, obviously, like, you could go somewhere and you could be like, oh, but my old go is now. Your boss is gonna be like, dude, I've been doing this shit for 30 years this way. Fuck you. You gotta do this. But no, like, take that, say yeah, sure. And then do it your own way and make sure we don't fucking find out and deliver it to him like the way he wants it. But just, you know, smile, say yes, and do whatever you were gonna do anyway. That's my biggest advice to people in most things, you know. Like,
yeah. It's a good saying, man. It's definitely a good saying. Let's get into another record though. Another favorite of mine is 10,000 Hours.
I like that one too, man.
Yeah, I think it's kind of relevant to talking about like working in retail and putting in the hard grafting and all that stuff. So yeah, it's a good record.
Yeah, safe, man.
To try and take it from you, and try and fake like you ain't worth the work you've put in. Give me my 10,000 hours back. Give my 10,000 hours back. You can't pay your way, I paved the way. Here to stay and stay away. We are not the same. No, I can't help it. I'm just born like it, and I was born the narcissist. Your whole life's a game. I catch ya. Come backwards up, features if you're stacked up.
That was 10,000 Hours, Clbrks off the project The Libary of Babel, out now. Do you still take musical influence from like your childhood in Africa at all?
What, in terms of African music, or?
Yeah, or like something you might have learned out there, or, you know, because obviously I've never like been to Africa or like any country in Africa really. And, and obviously you grew up in like several different countries around the continent, so it's like interesting to know if you still take musical influence from there.
I was taught to drum in Ghana, and every time I go off beat, my drum teacher would smack my leg with the drumstick.
Mad.
And that's shit, man. That told me to stay on beat. I'll tell you that. So that's that's what music. I don't know, man. And that was cool because it was in Ghana, so I got taught like obviously how to do different kind of like simple little like beats, like a rock beat or reggae beat or whatever. But they taught me about high life music, and I can drum like a high life drum kind of beat. You know, like I love high life music. And Afrobeat as well, but I mean, high life just from living in Ghana, that was the big music there. I guess it was my dad just playing me music all the time, so that's my main like thing that got me into music. Is just when my dad and my mum would play in the house, like most people, you know.
What was your mum and dad listening to?
My mum and dad like punk and reggae.
Sick.
They also like a bit of like, they like everything, man. You know, they like everything. Now for some reason my mum likes Mumford and Sons and shit, and I'm trying to get her off that way. I guess that's just.
Yeah, I feel like that's a very mum band, isn't it? Like Mumford and Sons. Like,
Yeah.
Mums do love a good
Elbow.
Mumford and Sons song. Elbow, yeah.
Fuck me, man. I switch that shit off.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. They bought me
Fair
like
enough, man.
lots of like, as well as like CDs that I'd like ask for sometimes. Like occasionally, they'd just randomly buy me a CD and they'd be like, oh yeah, you'd really like this. So like Nina Simone and stuff. Like I remember my parents bought me
Sick.
that. Yeah, you know.
I think the only CD my dad bought me was a Van Morrison CD. He's like obsessed with Van Morrison.
My mum loves Van the Man.
I hear that, man. Let's get into another record though. For what it's worth, another great record from the album, The Library of Babel.
I tell the barman that my stomach hurts. I seen the earth for what it's worth, and that's a lesson learned. I slow burn and watch heads turn and getting like the 31st, the gift and the curse, the blessings reimbursed.
CL, man, tell me where does the character of CL Brooks begin, and where does begin and where does Conrad end? Because you were kind of saying that, like, I heard in another interview you were saying kind of like CL Brooks is almost kind of like a character in a way. Like how does
I mean, it's about understand. Like, I don't think originally I set out for it to ever be like a character sort of thing. Or what I mean is, like, when I rap, it's you know, you're selling a character. Like it's like you're writing a comic book and you're a superhero. You know what I mean? And it's about, like, I mean, I guess with like last year and everything, it's just about trying to find that balance between, like, you know, how you behave. I don't know, maybe it's just something I struggle with, but like I can't be just in rap mode all the time, because the way I treat rap, I like, well, I've always have, and I'm learning not to. It's like I go at everything aggressively. Like I'm not very passive in taking things, you know. So yeah, if I spend too much time like that, then I get caught up in that kind of head. It just like, I want everything and I want it now. Whereas like sometimes I just gotta remember, like, yo, you know, you gotta be, like, you know, you got other people in your life, and like, you know, you gotta, you actually live in the society. It's not your society, you know. You can't. There's some motherfuckers that think like we're living in a simulation. And they're like player one or some shit. That shit is not true. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta understand there's other people in the world. Yeah. Sometimes like, it's easy to forget that if you spend so much time focusing on yourself. You feel me?
100%, man. Yeah. So obviously I saw your recent Cult of the Damned feature. Are you like a new member now, or was it just a feature?
Ooh, that's not one to ask. You have to ask the cult leaders. I mean, I haven't participated in the slaughtering of the goats ceremony yet. No, I'm only
Have
joking.
you not?
No, that doesn't actually happen. No, I mean, shit. I was at the Blah studio 2 or 3 nights ago. Like, you know, I love Blah. Like, and yeah, man. See how that goes. But I appreciated them, like, just like featuring CL Brooks on that thing, because like that was good for my career. You know what I mean? Because otherwise you just get kind of lost in a thing, and these guys are already established and I'm not established, so it was like, yeah, and this is CL Brooks, kind of like about in a cheesy way of being like introducing CL Brooks, it's just featuring CL Brooks, which is cool, you know.
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely a good look, man. I
mean, like, as people, we have like similar principles. Like, you know, we're all very straightforward men and women, and like, you know, we have and we're all from very different places. That's what I really like about Blah, is like everybody's very, very different, like all from like crazy different backgrounds and places all over the country. So it's nice to have a constant array of different opinions and you know, like having people around you to get ideas off of.
I've been a fan of them for a while, obviously, and they've been around for a minute. And just to see like someone like yourself, who's like, you know, just establishing themselves and like obviously being kind of popular in the underground, to get that kind of look, is, I feel, was quite sick.
I try to cater projects to like the appropriate audience. Like, so like Group Brazil is very like left field, like they have a lot of different styles of music, and it's like a bit more jazzy and stuff. So that's why Libary of Babel is like with them. And like when I'm making a project with Blah, I'll make a project that sounds like a Blah project. You know, I like.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't go to the meat market selling fish, right? You know.
Yeah, true.
You know?
You're a man of many sayings, I have to say, bro.
Yeah, some dumb metaphors come out. Man.
Nah, it's jokes though, man.
Thank you.
You're very wise, man. Very wise. You look very wise with that beard as well, slightly.
Yeah, it's a facade to pretend I'm wise. I'm still learning like everybody else, man. I'm really still learning.
I hear that, man. CL, man, I want to thank you for coming on, man. It's been a pleasure. Like, obviously, been listening to music for a little while now. Yeah, man. It's been, and obviously, the Libary of Babel was a sick record, bro. Really, really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much.
Shout out all your Instagram, your social media, where people can find your music, man.
On Instagram, you can find me as Young Puff 6 Hunter. That's YUNGPUFF 6 HUNNA. Twitter, Clbrks, Bandcamp, clbrks.bandcamp.com. Fucking man, if you go on my Instagram, you can even contact me and phone my fucking phone number if you want. Like, I'm about. So, yeah.
Sick, bro. Let's end on lobsters. I want to say I keep getting
lobster out the tag.
Lobster out the tank.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Cheers again for coming on, man. Really appreciate it.
My guy, salute. Thank you so much, man.
I nick your barking on my painted red. Fuck a clinic, I prescribe my own meds. I might escape to the med. Made it back and never left my bed. I've been cozy. I bet you know you don't be acting like your big homie.